Hey everybody, David the AI Guide here on Saturday, and this time we're going to talk about another current event, brand new information about synthetic reality. So I'm going to write that down real quickly. So what is synthetic reality? Synthetic reality means what it sounds like, blended, right, between actual reality or stuff that we consider real and stuff that's not real. And I'll give you a great example of this in action. So on Instagram, there's a new influencer whose name is Miquela, and Miquela reps for Calvin Klein. And on Miquela's last post, she had 50,000 likes and over 500 comments. So what's interesting about Miquela? Miquela's not real. That's what it is. So Miquela is a great example of synthetic reality. And this means that the world is changing again. So with high-def TV, right, regular TV, you sit and watch TV and you're mostly watching live-action actors, or you're watching cartoons which are animated and all done on a computer. But this is different because it's actually interactive. It can look very, very real, and it can fool you. So as we go forward over the next 5 years, this is going to become more and more common. How common? Well, the LA AI startup that created Miquela and is doing synthetic reality just raised tens of millions of dollars, and it's called brud. And this is what they do. They make stuff up to represent ideas and become influencers on Instagram and other social media platforms. So as you start watching more and more stuff going forward on Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok, all of these, you're going to see more and more things that you're going to have to stop and ask yourself, is this quote unquote real? But what is real? That's a good question, because one of the things, is a technology video log. We talk about a lot of science as well. And one of the things that we've talked about before is quantum physics. So we've learned from quantum physics that reality is contextual. What does that mean? Well, that means that reality is based on the person perceiving it at a point in time, and that's it. So real is subjective. It's not objective, which means it's not absolute. And in a way, there's no such thing as real, because real is determined by you observing something, and real is determined by your mindset, all the mental stuff that you bring to bear in looking at what you're looking at. So for example, let's say that there's something you're predisposed to be negative about. Well, you're going to, as soon as you see something new that you haven't seen before, but is in that category with something you've already decided that you don't like, you're instantly going to be negative to that thing. That's not real, right? Because this is something new. You've never seen it before. You should really be unbiased and observing it, but you aren't. So advertisers in particular have gotten extremely good at using human biases to manipulate you and get you to buy stuff, or both. And now introduce synthetic reality, and you really got a new ball game. Because once this stuff gets really beyond the startup phase, which, as I said, the company that created Miquela is a startup, so their technology is out there and active, but it's in continuous development and getting better and better and better all the time. And eventually it will be very difficult to be able to tell what's quote unquote real and not real. And this is further going to be impacted by two emerging technologies that we have talked about that are really still in their infancy, but won't be in the next 5 to 10 years. And that's augmented reality and virtual reality. So especially virtual reality, you put yourself in an environment that's not real but seems real. And augmented reality puts a layer over what you're looking at, either in glasses or contact lenses or something like that. But it has a layer of information over what you're looking at. So that has changed what's quote unquote real. So this is going to be an interesting time, a very interesting time to see what happens over the next 5 to 10 years with all of these technologies, synthetic reality, VR, AR, AI. A lot of things that have been separate are going to be blurred and ultimately combined, and you won't be able to tell the difference between them. This may put you in a difficult situation at some point because you may perceive something as real. Let's say it's something you're already naturally worried about, and this artificial thing or synthetic reality thing triggers this fear that you have about a situation that's being presented as real, but it's not. We've seen a lot in the media lately about quote-unquote fake news, which means manipulated news. And this is what I've been talking about is another aspect of what they're talking about in the media. But it's going to get more and more difficult to separate all of these things from each other as all of these technologies mature and converge, that we've talked about too, converging technologies that amplifies the effects of each of them. So Google synthetic reality, check it out, learn more, and please subscribe.